time. Just to be clear now, the Office of the Public Protector does have the power to subpoena anyone in its investigations, and that includes the President.
Good morning, Bongani. That is indeed correct. So the Public Protector has the powers of subpoena in terms of the legislation governing that office. And, I think the point here is, Bongani, is that the President, when he refused to relay details about the burglary at Phala Phala to the public and to the media, he made a clear commitment that he would cooperate with law enforcement investigations and other formal investigations into the matter. And it is therefore concerning that the President has failed to meet a deadline that he himself set in seeking an extension to respond to those questions from the Office of the Public Protector. So I think, this is an important and serious issue for the President to address. And he needs to address those, file his answers to those questions to the relevant investigating agencies, whether it's the Hawks or the Public Protector. I think the additional point to make here is that in terms of the Public Protector's investigation, it is limited to the issues that arise from the Executive Members Ethics Act, and is not a full-blown investigation into all aspects of the allegations that have been levelled.
I think that's important to clarify because, of course, even though that is the case, the Public Protector will not only be limited to whatever answers the President might eventually give, but they'll use whatever means they need to establish the facts around what is alleged. Would that also mean, though, the scrutiny of the President's personal finances?
Well, it may well do. One assumes that there is a corporate entity, a company that deals with the issue of the trading that takes place on the Phala Phala farm in terms of the purchase and sale of animals and other activities there. So that it probably would require some investigation into that to see whether monies are properly, particularly foreign currencies, declared to the relevant authorities and banked timeously and so on. The President needs to demonstrate that he is providing the full cooperation that he has promised to these investigating agencies. And, quite clearly, the minute that he answers those questions, whether it be to the Hawks or to the Public Protector, we will not know those answers until such time as the Public Protector files her report.
Here's the other thing to be concerned about, the use of grabbers, it's alleged, to nab suspects. Once again, the nefarious use of the security establishment in the service of private interests. That has raised its ugly head, but it's also emerged the current National Police Commissioner may have personally led the hunt of the alleged perpetrators, and he may well be a person of interest. I mean, this is exactly the kind of thing this administration was meant to be against.
Yeah, and many of those issues that you raised, Bongani, would be investigated by the Hawks. Those aspects may well fall outside the purview of the Public Protector. So that's why I think the distinction between the law enforcement investigations and the Public Protector's investigation there needs to be a clear distinction between those two. These are all serious allegations, as you rightly point out. And, the appropriate investigations need to be undertaken and brought to a conclusion as soon as possible.
If the President is found wanting here, and let's say some decision is deferred to the NPA to prosecute, constitutionally, what would that mean?
Well, it means that the NPA must act without fear, favour, or prejudice, as the Constitution demands. If the Hawks produce the evidence to the NPA and hand over a docket, the NPA will have to consider whether there is sufficient evidence to warrant a prosecution, and if there is, then they will need to institute it. One assumes that if it is a charge or a serious charge, that would have significant implications for the President. It may require him to vacate office in order to deal with those allegations. But I think until such time as we know exactly these are mere allegations at this point in time, and we have got to allow the law enforcement agencies to complete their task and to determine whether there is indeed a case or not for the President to answer.
And that's why I think many will say the continued delays are ill-advised and are starting to look bad for the President. Lawson Naidu, appreciate your time, the Executive Secretary there at KSAC.
702.
More than a radio station.
Let's walk the talk.